Very good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live this Monday night as we round off match day 10 of the Premier League season. And this evening we're at the Stadium of Light as Sunderland, who started this season incredibly, the newly promoted side, 5 wins from their first 9 league games of the season, take on an Everton side who sit in the bottom half of the table and looking for a win to get them back up the table and hopefully back on form after just 1 league win in their last 6 for David Moyes' side. They need 3 points tonight. Let's have a look at the results already this weekend. Brighton 3-0 winners at home against Leeds. Arsenal continuing their great start to the season. And the league leaders, another 3 points for them on the road away at Burnley. Crystal Palace back to winning ways against Brentford in that London derby. It was an easy one for Fulham against Wolves at Craven Cottage. And it was to be the end of Vitor Pereira at Wolves after he was sacked just yesterday after that 3-0 defeat. It was an end to the winning run for Man United, but unbeaten in 4 league games now are United under Ruben Amorim, and Nottingham Forest getting their first point under Sean Dyche in that 2-2 draw. A big win for Chelsea as well, away at Spurs, a Spurs that looked really lacklustre in that game away at home to Chelsea, and back-to-back home defeats for Thomas Frank to try and sort out. Liverpool back to winning ways as well, 2-0 winners against Villa on Saturday night, and yesterday 2 3-1 home wins as West Ham got a win, a rare win for the Hammers, taking on Newcastle, and a Newcastle side that have a really poor away record this season, winless on the road, the Magpies. And Manchester City winning 3-1 against Bournemouth, pushing themselves back up into second. Speaking of second place, that's where Sunderland could end the night if they continue a winning record and they get their 6th win of the season. They've won each of their last 2 league games, and they'll be hoping to make it 3 in a row for Sunderland, and that will be their longest league winning run, dating back even last season, very early in last season in the Championship. So quite a while since that's happened, and certainly in the Premier League that's the case as well. But a great start for Regis Labrace's side in the Premier League this season. As I said, can finish 2nd tonight this weekend. Everton in 15th to start the night. They can push themselves closer to the top half. Top half isn't gatherable this weekend, but they can push themselves up to 12th with a win tonight. Let's have a quick look at Sunderland's start to the season. As I said, 5 wins out of their first 9 games, only 2 defeats, and those 2 defeats coming away from home. Burnley in match day 2 of the season, one of those newly promoted sides alongside Sunderland, and Man United, they were beaten by 2-0 at Old Trafford. But every other game they've left unscathed, and some tough fixtures in there as well for Sunderland. Crystal Palace away, Aston Villa in there, Nottingham Forest away, and Chelsea as well. Probably the statement victory of the season for Sunderland, that victory away at Stamford Bridge last weekend. And what a booster to take into this game tonight against Everton. Back-to-back league wins and a massive win on the road at one of the biggest sides in the country at this minute in time, and certainly a Chelsea side that are doing quite well under Enzo Maresca. But a great start to the season for Sunderland, and not only the fact that they're getting results, but their defensive ability. 7 goals conceded this season in 9 games, and is merely unheard of when it comes to a newly promoted side who ship goals for fun, it seems. Compare that to Leeds and Burnley. Leeds have conceded 17 and Burnley have conceded 19, so almost 2 goals per game they're conceding. Sunderland conceding less than 1 per game at this minute in time. So what a fantastic start to the season for Regis Labrace's Sunderland, who looking at the minute to be the favourites to be staying up out of those 3 that came up from last season. Let's have a look at the 2 teams then for tonight's game, starting with the home side, Sunderland. They start with Roofs in goal. We think they're going with a back 5 tonight of Trey Hume, Mukiele, Dan Ballard in that centre-back role, Gertruida and Mandava at left back. In midfield, a very compacted midfield, but Granit Xhaka captains the side this evening, one of probably the signings of the summer. Granit Xhaka, Siddiqui alongside him, and the wide players of Traore and Lefay. And Wilson Isidore starts up front for Sunderland tonight after what has been a decent start to the campaign for him. 4 league goals in 9 matches. On the bench for Sunderland, Patterson, Masuaku, O'Nien, Neil, Talby, Adingra, Rigg, Mayenda and Broby. For Everton, as I said, they're in a bit of a need of a win after what has been a really poor recent run of form under David Moyes, but Jordan Pickford starts in goal, the former Sunderland player of course, and Sunderland born and bred is Jordan Pickford. A back 4 of O'Brien, Tarkovsky, Keane and Mikolenko, Tarkovsky the captain of course for Everton, Gay and Garner in midfield, Dewsbury Hall in the 10, Njai on the right hand side, Grealish on the left, and Tierno Barry is preferred up front ahead of Beto, who's on the bench. Travers, Coleman, Asnu, McNeil, Dibbling, Alcaraz, Roll and Irabunum are all alongside Beto on the Everton bench tonight. Sunderland, who have a great start to the season, 5 wins out of 9. They want to make it 6 out of 10 tonight and continue what has been a fantastic home form to start this season. 3 wins out of 4 home league games. Will Everton be the latest to suffer defeat here on Wearside? Kickoff between Sunderland and Everton is next. And before we get to tonight's game, that's a quick reminder of that we have Champions League action for you during the week. Liverpool taking on Real Madrid tomorrow at 8 o'clock from Anfield, and on Wednesday night, Man City taking on Borussia Dortmund at Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Quick reminder of those two big games coming up in midweek, but we round off another Premier League weekend here this evening. A Sunderland side, as I said, who've been just quite remarkable coming up this season. One of the best newly promoted sides we've seen in the Premier League era, and certainly a tough task for David Moyes' Everton, who are out of form at the moment, tonight here at the Stadium of Light, under the lights, and we're off and running. And we gotta say, it's really one of those long periods without a spell in the Premier League. Sunderland, of course, is their first actual Monday night game in the Premier League in 9 years, since 2016. It's the last time they played a Premier League game on a Monday night. And they almost got off to the worst start there with a wispy effort from James Garner. It was zipped wide of the left post for Everton. Would have been a perfect start for the visitors, but off target. Certainly had Roofs a little worried as he kicks this one long. Nicely brought down by Tarkowski, but Everton unable to sustain the possession. Xhaka lays it back to Gertruida. Now Ballard. Gertruida to manoeuvre the ball forward. Goes to Mandava, who goes back to Roofs again. And one thing for Sunderland tonight, we be intriguing to see what way they approach this game. I haven't, if I'm honest, watched a lot of Sunderland. I've seen bits and pieces of them this season and some really inspired performances here at the Stadium of Light. But you got to say they're a side that is an interesting way of playing. But it is a way of playing that's getting them results at the minute under Regis Labrice. Seems like they're playing a 5-4-1 tonight with Wilson Isidore, the lone striker, and a really solid a bank of 5 and then the bank of 4 in front. Mikolenko has the ball for Everton. Garner lays it off to Idrissa Gueye, and now Tarkowski. And the right channel, and O'Brien is seen out well there by Mandava. And out for the throw. Sunderland do have a run of some tough games to come on Saturday night here. It'll be probably one of the biggest games of the season here at the Stadium of Light, and they take on league leaders Arsenal Saturday night at 5:30. That'll be a rocking atmosphere. Everton just trying to settle this crowd a little bit, because certainly when the crowd inside the Stadium of Light gets going, the stands literally bounce. It's not an exaggeration. Nicely won back by Siddiqui in the midfield there. Plays it back to Roofs again. Just seems like when Everton are on the ball, they're just trying to slow the tempo of the game down, not allowing Sunderland to create any sort of momentum, any sort of energy in the crowd that, as I said, can be a dangerous. Ballard was a little bit loose, but he has the cover, luckily, of Mukiele, and plays it back to Roofs. The last time these two met was in the league, is the 2016-17 season. Sunderland getting relegated that season, and they lost both games against Everton in that campaign. They last losing more consecutive games against the Toffees between November 2007 and May 2009. If they lose here tonight, they would extend that record. They have that was 4 games in a row back then. They're looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak against Everton in as many league meetings, and looking to avoid what would be an end to their pretty good home form that they've had this season. 3 wins and 1 draw from their 4 league games they've had here. Here's Mandava down the left hand side. Well wrestled was Garner out of the way as Lefay back to Mandava. And Gertrude. Ballard. Switching out to the right hand side. Traore, nice link up there as that's Xhaka now. Plays it into Isidore, who's got inside the box. He's dragged a little wide by the Everton defence, but he's kept the possession. And that's nicely worked by Traore. And they're in again. Isidore trying to get across. Well charged out by the Everton defence once more, who stood firm. And now Dewsbury Hall wants to burst away and try and find Tierno Barry in behind. But nicely recovered by the Sunderland defenders in Gertrude. That was the key man there getting the block. It was a little injection of energy, the first sight of Wilson Isidore tonight. He's been the star man for Sunderland since their return to the Premier League. 4 league games, or 4 league goals in 9 league games this season. Scored in that win over Chelsea last weekend, and a 1-1 draw here against Aston Villa. 2-1 win against Brentford here as well, and then of course on the opening day against West Ham. So 3 of his 4 goals in the league this season have come at the Stadium of Light, making it feel like home in the Premier League is Wilson Isidore for Sunderland. He scored 13 goals in 46 championship games last season, did Wilson Isidore. 2 assists overall for Sunderland. And he seems to be the main man here on Weir's side. Here is Jack Grealish. Plays it down the left-hand side. Dewsbury Hall trying to break in behind. He's burst past his defender. Cuts it back, in the shot from Njai was blocked. Still has it Njai. Back to Idrissa Gueye, and now Tierno Barry was well charged out on that right-hand side. That time it was Mandava that was getting the block in. It was a little better from Everton. Really good combination between that front 4. All getting involved in that attacking spell of action. And Iliman Njai and Tierno Barry having their shots blocked. We do expect the first goal to be crucial tonight in the way that this game goes, as that was a long ranger from Tarkovsky that was comfortably gathered by Robin Roofs for Sunderland. Adrian in the chat says, here to see how Sunderland get on for next week against Arsenal and Chelsea. One lover says CKP. Thank you very much for getting involved. Everybody joining us tonight on YouTube, of course, on LFS. Great to have you all with us tonight for this one. Enjoying this weekend of Premier League football that we've had for you here in LFS. Everton winning the ball high. A nice little touch. And poor ball in the end by Idrissa Gueye that was trying to work it to that right hand side, and Tierno Barry came central, and so did Iliman Njai, and there was just real no option out there for Idrissa Gueye. Despite that run of beating them in the last 2 meetings in the Premier League for Everton, they have only won twice on the last 8 visits to Sunderland. Drawn 4 and lost 2. And as I said, one of those most recent victories was in their last trip here to the Stadium of Light, a 3-0 win back in September of 2016. Actually won 4 consecutive games at the Stadium of Light, did Everton, between August 2002 and May 2009. Everton in possession. Idrissagay back to Tarkowski. Lays it out wide to Iliman Njai. Back to Jake O'Brien. Then on to Tarkowski. It goes back to Jordan Pickford, who got a warm welcome when he returned to the Stadium of Light tonight, of course. Former Sunderland player. As I said, very well accustomed to this place. Was actually the goalkeeper that played the majority of Sunderland's game in that season. They last were in the Premier League in the 16-17 season. Kept 4 clean sheets, conceded 50 goals in his 29 games in the Premier League for Sunderland in that campaign. Did Jordan Pickford. What a revelation he's been. And over the last 8 years at Everton, signed him for £25 million. Did Everton, and what a invaluable asset he has been to the football club for the last 8 years or so, and many of those relegation fights that they've been in as well. He's certainly been one of their main leaders over that run, but he came through the Sunderland Academy, Jordan Pickford, all the way back in 2012, and what a great career he's had to this point. Still only 31, Jordan Pickford. Quite young for a goalkeeper still. Just about hitting his peak, which says a lot about him. The fact that he probably hasn't peaked just yet, as a goalkeeper anyway, and the results he's already performed over the years at Everton and the level of performance. It's cleared away by Keane, and Tierno Barry tried to flick it on, but nicely retrieved by Gertruida and Ballard. Neither side able to get anywhere near the opposition goal at the moment. That's a good slide in by Traore to win it back there for Sunderland. For Isidore give it away, but it's sloppy in the middle there from Xhaka. It's given away to Iliman Njai, and now Tierno Barry trying to return the ball to Iliman Njai, but nicely defended down that side by Mandava. It looked like a little bit loose there from Xhaka. Quite unlike him, Granit Xhaka, very experienced midfielder, and kind of what we've seen in the Premier League this season with the mid-table sides, in a sense, is kind of old heads coming in a sense, a kind of way of saying it. Very experienced players, and Granit Xhaka is one of those. 33 years old, he's seen it all, done it all in the Premier League, has vast amounts of experience, and the only player in this side that has that experience at this top level, and I think a real leader for this Sunderland team. He's had some great performances so far. A couple of assists for Granit Xhaka this season in the Premier League. 3 assists. His last season at Arsenal, he played 37 games, 7 goals and 7 assists in the 22-23 campaign. That last season, in that 7-season spell at the Gunners. Here's Xhaka, and the shot from range there from Isidore. Or sorry, Traore, apologies. Is well off target, but we see this bouncing ball. Tarkowski battling with Isidore initially, and then Traore just keeps the battle on with Keane. And as the ball falls in the second bounce, he just takes the shot on the half volley and just struck it with his left foot, off balance a little bit, and just goes wide of the target. But nice physicality from Traore and Isidore there. The referee this evening, Tom Bramall, or VAR, Michael Salisbury. And as I say all the time when I mention a VAR, hopefully we won't need to hear from Michael Salisbury tonight. I'm sure he's hoping that he's very seldom involved. Here's Tierno Barry. Getting the break of the ball, but crowded out by the amount of Sunderland players breaking him down, and that was a fair challenge. Siddiqui was challenged there, but here's Iliman Njai breaking forward and finishes beautifully. Wonderful finish by Eilman and Jai. And Everton take the lead. Sunderland will complain that there was a foul in the build-up, but the referee allowed it to play on. And Eilman and Jai gets the fruits of his labour and gives Sunderland a deficit to now overcome. And Everton have the lead. See it here. Siddiqui just gets battled into by Tierno Barry. I think it's a little soft. Eilman and Jai, beautiful bits of skill, skipping away from challenges and sets himself up beautifully. Take nothing away from Eilman and Jai. A wonderful solo goal, but in my opinion, I think Siddiqui just have to be told he needs to be stronger there. Noah Siddiqui, and there's really little you can do there. It's just poor from him, but ultimately the quality, the class from Eilman and Jai for that goal. And maybe commentator's curse, where he might have to see a bit of VAR intervention from Michael Salisbury. And the goal will stand after a quick VAR check. The decision of goal stands, and I think that's perfectly correct. I think it's a little bit soft on Noah Siddiqui. And Everton do have the lead here at the Stadium of Light on a Monday night. And it was a wonderfully created goal, you gotta say. I know we're only on the 3rd of November and only the start of the month, but that might go down as one of the goals of the month. And the way that they have, way that it was produced by Eilman and Jai, it's just a beautiful solo goal. Really nicely done. And another claim of a foul there by Sunderland, which they're not happy with. And then on the frustration of giving away that foul, it's going to be a free kick to Everton and a yellow card for a Sunderland player. He just got a little bit too overexcited. And the referee's just going to hand out the yellow to Siddiqui. He has his frustrations. You can see it here. Eilman and Jai deemed not to have fouled Siddiqui, and then as he gets to his feet, the frustration gets the better of him and he completely clatters into James Garner. No attempt to win the ball, and that's the frustration from Noah Siddiqui. And a yellow is 4th of the season for the midfielder. And a couple of talking to from his players, his teammates. You can understand the frustration, but again, can't condone any sort of retaliatory action. And I think the referee's handed out another yellow card here. And it's the number 20. Granit Xhaka is fuming, but it's Mukiele that's been given a yellow card as well for arguing with the referee. And Mukiele also in the referee's book, but seem a little rattled at the minute, Sunderland's. Need to just maintain some composure. The crowd trying to help them in getting back to that level. Here's Ballard. Back to Roofs. So 2 Sunderland players there. Siddiqui for the foul and Mukiele for dissent for arguing with the referee. So 2 yellow cards for Sunderland. Only perk up the eyes and ears of Everton players, because this is what they thrive off, frustrating the opposition, getting them to be very on edge, and riling them up, and that's what Everton thrive off. That's what Sunderland need to just maintain, is their frustration and anger of these early moments, and try and channel it into finding a way back into the game. And Mukiele came rushing at the referee, and that's why he got a yellow card. Continued his arguments despite being told by the referee to move away. On multiple occasions he was told, but he's the one that ends up getting penalised. Referee Tom Bramall taking a very firm approach. I don't think the referee was wrong in any of those decisions. I think he got it completely correct. If I'm honest, you know the rules. But that can show that little bit of extra frustration, as again Siddiqui is really struggling. He's beaten off the ball again here, and it's picked up by Garner. Here's Tierno Barry, back to O'Brien, and again it was just Siddiqui in the middle. Just gets beaten off the ball, or kind of beaten in a tussle without possession, and the ball played towards his direction, and he was on the floor. And those one-on-one battles he's really losing out at the minute, Siddiqui, and I think Everton are thinking, let's target him. He's the weak link at the moment. Here's O'Brien. Back to Tarkovsky. Nice reverse ball by Idrissa Gueye, but a little bit too much pace on it for Garner to take control of. Here is Siddiqui. And Lefay back to Ballard, who pokes it through the lines. That's nicely worked to Trey Hume. The two Northern Irish teammates linking up, but Hume misplacing his pass out wide to Traore, and now picked up by Dewsbury Hall. Grealish back to Dewsbury Hall out wide, chips it in from the byline, and Iliman Ndiaye spider crawling to get back to the ball. Here's Idrissa Gueye. Grealish, he'll have a shot off the post. Bounces back out. Ball whipped in by Dewsbury Hall and headed away at the back post by Gertruida. Well, that's much better again from Everton. Sustained pressure. Sunderland unable to have a better respite at the moment. Grealish just hits this one right-footed, curling away from goal, and it crashes off the left post, but was Roos going to get there? I'm not too sure if he would have. O'Brien with a long throw, flicked into the box, brought down by Dewsbury Hall. Blocked and half cleared, although it was headed back into the Sunderland box by one of their own players, and Gertruida got rid of that one. Headed back by Mikolenko to Jordan Pickford. It just seems like they are a little rattled, Sunderland, and just unable to recompose themselves and get themselves back into that position of calmness on the ball that they were in within the first 10 minutes of this game, and right up until they scored, they conceded the goal. Iliman Ndiaye picks up the ball again, nicely closed out by Xhaka, and Ballard backtracking as well. Xhaka, nice little 1-2 with Enzo Lefay. It's Lefay, nice little layoff by Hume. That's better from Sunderland. Burton Traore down the right hand side to Hume. Oh, and again Siddiqui gets unfortunate again. He's really losing those tussles at the moment. That's a lovely through ball by Idrissa Gueye down the left for Grealish. He's got Dewsbury Hall in the middle. He finds Dewsbury Hall. He tried to poke it back across, kind of roll it towards Grealish on the return, but Sunderland had ample bodies back to defend that situation. But seems like when they get a little bit of momentum at the moment, Sunderland just not able to stamp themselves upon it, and that's another poor ball that's just a little forced by Enzo Lefay this time, but they've got some good quality, some glimpses of good quality in these early moments, but they just seem a little bit impatient with it now. Forcing issues that just don't need to be forced right now. Regis Labrise trying to solve the puzzle that Sunderland seem to be struggling to fit into place at the moment. There's Mandava. Seen her to play there by Iliman Njai. Nicely retrieved. And Garner back to O'Brien and into Iliman Njai. A real tussle with Mandava. And Iliman Njai going down. Mandava saying, and it's not a foul, but he would say that. And a free kick to Everton, and David Moyes giving Iliman Njai some information while the play was stopped. Quick little message to one of his players for David Moyes. I'm sure he'd be happy with what he's seen from his side so far in the first 25 minutes. The Scotsman. And James Garner over this free kick, wide on the right hand side. Quite a distance away from goal. Sunderland set their defensive line right on the edge of the D. Garner with a fizz ball towards the box, and a comfortable one, catching practice for Robin Roofs. Sends this one flying, and Isidore's on the chase, but much pace on that one. Jordan Pickford had it comfortably, and he fired it away from goal. Good press though by Wilson Isidore. Well, Everton lost 1-0 at Leeds in their opening Premier League game of the season. They last lost consecutive league games against promoted sides in the 21-22 campaign, when they lost 3 in a row against Watford, Brentford and Norwich. Would be back-to-back if they were to lose to Sunderland tonight. Yet to play Burnley this season, of course. So a long throw-in coming here for Sunderland, right-hand side, excuse me. Lots of bodies back there for Everton. Quite a few bodies forward, including the centre-backs for Sunderland. Dan Ballard, known for his height, and he couldn't get to that one, and Michael Keane got there, but there was a foul on an Everton player anyway. Trey Hume penalised for a foul on Mikolenko. So a free kick to Everton. Well, so far the stats seem pretty one-sided. Sunderland have had more of the possession, but Everton have had all the XG, all the shots, all the opportunities in these early moments. Sunderland with just the one shot, but Everton with 6. 1 on target, which they scored. Jack Grealish hit the post. James Garner's whistled one wide in the first minute of the game, so they've had ample opportunity to threaten the Sunderland goal of Everton tonight. Only 27 minutes in. As I say, that was only the 8th goal that they've conceded this season, Sunderland. And again, sloppy between Ballard and Granit Xhaka that time, and Barry picks it up to Dewsbury Hall. Now Garner. Down the left side comes Grealish. Bodies in the box for Everton. Grealish's cross is all the way through, and Barry missed an absolute sitter at the back post. He cannot believe he's not scored there for the Toffees. It should have been 2-0. My goodness, we see it again. Sloppy from Sunderland in the midfield. And again, that front four combining really well. Barry does well in the initial moment. Dewsbury Hall lays it back to Garner. Garner out wide to Grealish. And Grealish, with that whipping cross, lofted in over the head of Dewsbury Hall. And Barry on a plate for him at the back post. Well, he absolutely ballooned it over the crossbar. And David Moyes, frustrated by that he couldn't even test the goalkeeper who was a yard in front of him. And that is maybe a let-off for Sunderland. A massive let-off. Maybe a glimmer of luck they desperately need at the moment, Sunderland, because they are not in this game at all at the minute. Everton are in dominant control. Sunderland looks sloppy in their passing at times. And Everton capitalising by winning the ball back, but on a few occasions probably could have capitalised even further by finding the back of the net. Xhaka pressured by Barry, but he gets it away quickly to Ballard, and now Gertrude. Flick ball over the top by Xhaka. Nice run here by Reinildo into the box, and the ball towards Bertrand Traore. He got on the end of it, couldn't hit it with any real power or pace, and That was a chance for Sunderland. Great ball by Xhaka. Beautifully taken on the outside. The space in behind. O'Brien just drives into midfield. He leaves the gap, which Iliman Ndiaye tries to cover. And Ronaldo gets on the outside, whips the ball back to the edge of the box. And Bertrand Traore there, striding onto it, cannot get any contact. And that's a big moment for Sunderland. Really good bit of creativity. Just unable to use it to their advantage. CDMP says, come on Sunderland. And Mine XR with a £2 super chat. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Says COYBBBBBB. So I think it's come on you Blues, but come on you Toffees. I'm guessing that's what you're saying. But thank you very much for your super chat. Great to have you with us. And everybody joining us tonight for this one. Half an hour gone here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Everton 1. A goal from Iliman Ndiaye after 15 minutes has given the Toffees the lead. Here's Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. Inside to Grealish. Nicely worked back out wide here. To Garner, but Grealish again. Sunderland trying to cover the space. Beautiful ball by Grealish, but Dewsbury-Hall couldn't link it back up with anybody else. Oh, and that was a desperate challenge by Tierno Barry that was just unnecessarily made. And he's going to get a yellow card for that one. That was a striker's challenge if you've ever seen one. I mean, he saw that Siddiqui was there for the taking, but my goodness, he certainly took him out. Got none of the ball there, Tierno Barry, and he's going to get a yellow card for his troubles. His first yellow card of the season for the Everton centre forward. Yes, mine says up the Toffees. Everton have been quite impressive so far in the first 31.5 minutes. And Soul Mining says UTFT. I will not repeat that. It's a family show. Family show. Keeping it PG tonight, we will. As Siddiqui was seen out wide there by Idrissa Gueye, and out for the Sunderland throw. One thing about Sunderland this season is their ability to find a way back into a game. 7 points they've gained from losing positions this season, the most of any side in the league. Do they know how to find a way to fight back? As Reynaldo goes down there holding his face, but referee sees no issue. Jake O'Brien is the one that was in the battle with him, and he went down right away, Reynaldo, but I don't think there's any issue with that, if I'm honest. See it again. Oh, yeah, there's nothing in that. He just kind of holds off the player, Jake O'Brien. It's actually good defending, and there's not much in it, if I'm honest. Defensively there, not a real issue, if I'm honest. O'Brien with the long throw down the line. A bouncing ball that Sunderland don't get in the way of initially, but do clear it away. A bit of Everton defending having to happen there with Tarkowski. And Iliman Ndiaye can't keep that ball in play. Sunderland throw. Ballard. Again, flipped out to the right side to Trey Hume, but again, a real poor ball. Goes straight out of play for an Everton throw. They just look really off their ability at the minute. Sunderland off their rhythm, off their cadence. Need to regarner some of that, and there's a man who can do it for them, Xhaka. down the right-hand side. Jumped away from the ball there. Did Bertrand Traore, but it's won back again by Xhaka. Nice Siddiqui. Reynildo. Trying to use the space in the middle of the pitch. There isn't much of it. Everton trying to compact the field, narrow the field, but Sunderland trying to open those gaps a little bit. And there's a space. Reynildo finding the ball out wide to Enzo Lefebvre. Back inside to Xhaka, and Xhaka with the ball towards the box. Away by Keane, not fully cleared as Traore with a shot. Blocked on the right-hand side as Ballard wins it back. That's better from Sunderland. Gertruda works the ball to the outside, finding Bertrand Traore. Onto his left foot, lifting the ball towards the box, and Isidore was the target. Half cleared. Siddiqui leaves it for Gertruda, who couldn't keep the shot down, just over the crossbar, but better from Sunderland all of a sudden. Again, really good play. They get the ball wide, Sunderland, and actually use it quite well. Bertrand Traore with a cross the first time. They keep it alive. Siddiqui leaves it, allows Gertruda to stride onto it and struck it well, Gertruda, but just a little bit too much height behind it in the end, and going for a goal kick. Jordan Pickford's not happy that the ball rolled back, but that's Mother Nature for you, Jordan. As he fires this one long. First header won by Sunderland, a reverse ball trying to find the behind of Everton's defences. That was nicely retrieved by Tarkowski, and away by Pickford again with a long ranger, but all the way through to his opposite number, and Robin Roofs in the Sunderland goal. And you've got to say that little 1 minute spell, that last attacking action for Sunderland, is probably their best of the game so far. And probably in a moment, in a spell of this game where they kind of need to get themselves up the field, get themselves a bit of positivity in the final third, and try and find a way back into this game. So far, Wilson Isidore has struggled. Hasn't had a shot yet. Hasn't really had many touches. 7 so far for the Sunderland centre forward. A little bit isolated, but Traore does well here. And a nice ball through. Ball across towards Isidore. And a bit of bobbling and deflecting in there from the Everton players as it's cleared away. Some calls of handball, but they're always going to be. Again, that was good play down the right-hand side again by Sunderland. I think it was Hume that got the ball across towards Isidore, but it was cleared away ultimately by Everton. Again, down that right-hand side is Traore. Drives inside this time. Mukiele back to Gertruda. A nice Siddiqui. Xhaka, Siddiqui. And back to Ballard. Switches it out to the right side for Traore. Traore jinking his way past his man, and Mikolenko, and gets it across. And cleared away by Michael Keane in the box again. Much better spell from Sunderland. Finally responding to going behind. Gertruda. Nice little flick to find Reynildo. Xhaka to Mukiele. A layoff by Lefebvre. Here is Enzo Lefebvre. Rolls it through for Wilson Isidore. It was well charged down by Michael Keane, but again, really good play by Lefebvre and Isidore, and a battle there down the left side that Sunderland are furious they haven't got the ball from. See this again, it was good play, really beautiful. Nice little layoff. Ballard lays it off to Enzo Lefebvre, and Lefebvre through to Isidore in the middle. He just couldn't get the time to get his shot off. Nicely stopped by Michael Keane, who came across and was aggressive, and not allowing the centre forward to have a go at the goal. There's Lefebvre battling down that left side, but nice backtracking from Iliman Ndiaye to win it back. Under pressure by Lefebvre, and O'Brien clears his lines quite confidently. Barry trying to cause issues with the Sunderland defenders, and Idrissa Gueye trying to help out. Barry going down, but somehow finds Idrissa Gueye, and clattering in was Mukiele. Between him and Idrissa Gueye, but Mukiele's gone down. I think it's an offside anyway against Idrissa Gueye. It's going to get Sunderland a free kick. See this long ball, really good from Tierno Barry, occupying two Sunderland defenders in Gertrude and Ballard, and allows Gueye to come in and win the second ball, and he just might stray offside there, Idrissa Gueye, and in the process he does foul Mukiele in any case, but offside and possibly a foul against him anyway, so was never going anywhere on that one, Everton. But it's been a good response from Sunderland. It took them quite a while to garner up any sort of response to going behind, but the last few minutes they've been much more enlightening further forward. Hume trying to dart one through, just a little ahead of Isidore on that occasion, and comfortably gathered by Pickford, but that's a nice zipped ball by Hume that time. Brian trying to find Njai, but Sunderland throwing bodies in there, and Reynaldo and Xhaka getting to the ground and winning the ball back. Here is Granit Xhaka in a pocket of space. Nice ball through the lines first time. Hume lays it off now. Traore's shot blocked. And brought down was Xhaka by Dewsbury Hall. And they've taken it quickly, Sunderland, which the referee allows. Here's Traore breaking into the box. Bertrand Traore. Well charged down. And Keane was there to block him. Goodness me, it is one-way traffic at the moment. Sunderland have been energised all of a sudden. It's like they've put batteries in them. Got them fired up. Someone's turned the switch. And the energy inside this stadium has risen tenfold in the last few minutes. The crowd are loving what they're seeing from their team at the moment. Enjoying their response. Here's Traore. Got Mukiele on the overlap. Traore just going to go himself for now. Back to Mukiele. And all the way back it goes to Ballard. But Everton camped in their own final third at the moment. Probably of their own protection, trying to keep themselves from conceding before half-time, as Siddiqui wanted a foul, but O'Brien was fair. And a throw in to the Toffees, which Siddiqui still a little calmer this time. Noah Siddiqui from where he was earlier on, but still not happy with the decision. O'Brien with the long throw in coming then down the line. Again, nicely won by Xhaka and Gertrude. Brought it down. Mukiele. Flipped out wide to Trey Hume. Space down that right hand flank. Hume goes for the early cross. Blocked by Micholenko. Right for the Sunderland throw in, but starting to ask questions of Everton's defence and starting to test them a little more. Each of the last 4 shots in the game have come from Sunderland. So they're in the ascendancy in the last few minutes, as Mukiele goes to ready to take this long throw into the box. Long it comes. Up and away confidently by Keane, but will be retrieved by Mukiele. Will whip it in this time. It's deep. It's at the back post. It's cleared off the line twice by Everton. Still not away. Lefay gets it across. Punched away by Pickford. And the strike on the half volley is hooked away by O'Brien. That is much, much better from Sunderland, and Everton were on the ropes there. Great ball in. Wicked ball by Mukiele. And at that back post, there was 2 bodies throwing their heads at a Ballard and Isidore. That's cleared off the line by Tarkovsky. And then Keane has to make a defensive header as well, as does O'Brien. My goodness, that was a moment of a real test for Everton's defence, but more excitement and positivity for Sunderland, as there's an Everton player that's gone straight down after a challenge on Idrissa Gueye, I think it is. But he's sitting up, which is good to see, and Granit Xhaka showing some concern, and helped back to his feet by the Sunderland players there, Idrissa Gueye, which is nice to see. A reminder for you, Champions League action to come over the next few nights. Tomorrow night we're at Anfield as Liverpool take on Real Madrid. And after returning to winning ways in the league, Liverpool, they want to get their third Champions League victory tomorrow night. Real Madrid, one of the toughest tasks of the season, early season for Liverpool. And that is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half, by the way. Long ball by Everton. Barry trying to find any of his teammates with that hold-up play, but it's the reverse. And Tarkowski here, he's put Pickford in a tricky situation. But Jordan Pickford, one of the best in those sorts of situations when the pressure is on him. And he did really well on that occasion, did Jordan Pickford. Like he was completely unfazed by it at all. It's a torrid back pass by Tarkowski, but elegantly dealt with by Jordan Pickford. Nicely done by Traore. Xhaka back to Tume. 1 minute to go with the half. Can Sunderland squeeze out an equalizer? And that's a header from Siddiqui that actually takes it away from his own man. And in the end, that could have been a good chance for Sunderland, but it's come all the way back to Jordan Pickford, who will probably try and see out as much of the clock as possible before the break. Long ball forward again. Header won by Hume and brought down by Mukiele. Try to work it down that right channel, but Traore's beaten to it by Garner. Nicely won back though by Mukiele, who strode wide, and now Trey Hume inside to Xhaka. Maybe one last chance before the half. There's going to be a free kick to Sunderland right on the halfway line. Siddiqui fouled. But, as that free kick was given, the referee looked at his watch and said there's no more time. So no time for that Sunderland free kick, and we have reached the halfway stage of this one this evening. And a half-time that David Moyes will be very happy to see his side leading, but certainly not with the way that they ended that half. Sunderland certainly in the ascendancy, but have nothing to show for that really good spell they had in the last 10 minutes of the first half. Everton, the only goal of the game so far, a beautiful solo goal by Iliman Ndiaye, but this one still hangs in the balance. Half-time at Sunderland 0, Everton 1. Your one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable! Nice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in, the header is in! By Virgil van Dijk! Incredible! Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half time, it is Sunderland 0, Everton 1 at the break, and the visitors leading through that goal from Iliman Njai. This is the weekend that we've seen already in the Premier League. A busy weekend, of course, a full roster of fixtures and some very intriguing affairs, but only one draw from this weekend's game. Quite a number of home wins, actually 6 of the 9 games that we've already seen come to conclusion were home wins this weekend. City, West Ham, Liverpool, Fulham, Crystal Palace and Brighton all winning at home. Arsenal and Chelsea both winning on the road and keeping clean sheets in said victories. But Forest and United the only draw of the weekend so far. And Everton looking to become the third side away from home this weekend to win by a goal or 2-0, and Everton are 1 up at the break. Iliman Njai, as I said, with his goal, beautiful solo goal to give Everton the lead. And in that moment, they probably deserved the lead. I think they were definitely the better side in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And Sunderland, when they did go behind, they really struggled to garner any sort of momentum to try and get back into the game or to kind of respond to what Everton had thrown at them. And it was a real concern a little early on. They got frustrated, a couple of yellow cards, a couple of silly decisions from Sunderland and their players, and I think it took them a while just to settle back down and get into rhythm. And when they did, they looked quite a bright spark in the final 10 minutes of that first half. But no shots on target from the first half for Sunderland, which will be something that Regis Lebris will look to fix at half-time and trying to get his players in better positions to test Jordan Pickford in the second half, and we will see if they can do that in this second half to come. A reminder for you that we do have Champions League action for you this midweek. Tomorrow night we watch Liverpool take on Real Madrid in the Champions League. A Real Madrid side have won all 3 of their opening matches in the Champions League this season. Liverpool have won 2 out of their 3 Champions League matches, so 2 very good sides in the competition facing off at Anfield tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday night we watch Manchester City take on Borussia Dortmund at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 2 wins and a draw from their first 3 games, the same as Borussia Dortmund, 6th v 7th in the league phase table, heading into Wednesday night's action. For that fixture, though, on Tuesday night, we're keeping an eye on 7 other games that are underway, or sorry, 6 other games, including that Liverpool-Madrid game. Atletico Madrid taking on Union Saint-Gilloise, Glimt Monaco, Juventus Sporting, Olympiacos PSV, PSG against Bayern Munich, and Tottenham hosting Copenhagen in North London. That's on Tuesday night. Then on Wednesday night we watch Ajax, Galatasaray, Benfica, Leverkusen, Club Brugge, Barcelona, Inter and Kairat, Newcastle taking on Athletic Club, Marseille hosting Atalanta. Chelsea and Arsenal are both early kickoffs, so we will have final scores in both of our coverages on Tuesday and Wednesday night for those games. So, a busy Champions League fixture list to come during the week, but we round off the Premier League's weekend match day 10, and we'll tell you all about the table and what it means for the season as the second half at the Stadium of Light between Sunderland and Everton is on the way next. Do stay with us. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there! Liverpool are Premier League champions! And there it comes! Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners! Oh, he's found the net! Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a 4th, and does so! Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live here in LFS. Great to have you with us. Sunderland trailing by 0-0 against Everton tonight on the Monday Night Football. And at the moment, it is a first Monday night game in the Premier League in 9 years for Sunderland. And it doesn't look like they're going to be making a winning return. But they gave a promising end to that first half. But a need of a threat to Jordan Pickford's goal is something that Regis Labrisse's side need to find. We'll see if they can do it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That'd be greatly appreciated. And thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight, because it is great to have your company and great to for you to be enjoying this one with us tonight under the lights at the Stadium of Light. And we get back underway for the second 45. Everton one up from the first half, and Iliman Ndiaye the scorer. But certainly, as I said, Sunderland with a promising end to the first half without finding the net. Something they will want to build upon into this second period. Fizz ball over the top here towards Isidore, who took it down nicely away from King. And Lefay laying it off to Xhaka, back to Enzo Lefay. Good start here from Sunderland. Lefay with a shot. Charged down, still alive. Xhaka with an effort, and the deflection takes it in. And Sunderland are back on level terms. And what a start to the second half for the home side. 1-1. And it is their captain, their leader, their star man of experience, Granit Xhaka, that scores it. 1-1. And what a start to the second. Doing really well to get into a good space, and then he cuts it back. Xhaka with a shot, and it takes a deflection. It was on target anyway. It's Xhaka's goal, and it's a good strike. Really clean. Left foot, takes a deflection up into the roof of the net, and it's back in the game for Sunderland. James Tarkowski with a flick with his left foot. And it is 1-1. Their first shot on target of the night, Sunderland. And they're back and level in this game. 1-1. And it's first for Sunderland since joining them in the summer for Granit Xhaka. And a great goal. And that is the perfect start to the second period for Regis Labrisse and his team. 1-1. And look at that. Out of the goals that they've scored in the Premier League this season, out of the 12 they've now scored, 9 of them have come in the second half. So they do prefer the second period rather than the first. They didn't take long into the second half to find that goal within 50 odd seconds. It's one back again. Here's Isidore. Lays it inside. Lefay to Xhaka. Back to Enzo Lefay, and another deflection. And Pickford has to make the save. And it's fired behind by O'Brien for the corner. But my goodness me. Another shot from distance. Another deflection. This time off Isidore, the Sunderland player, that has it deflected off Enzo Lefay's shot, and it almost wrong foots Jordan Pickford. He reaches back to parry it away, but this is on the ropes for Everton in the first 3.5 minutes of this half. And this place is rocking now. Lefay's corner, Fizz to the back post, headed away by Dewsbury Hall, back into the mix, flicked on by Siddiqui. It's brought down to the back post, lots of bubbling, calls a handball, but there's going to be a flag up for offside against one of the Sunderland players. But the energy and atmosphere inside the Stadium of Light is blistering at the moment. And that equalising goal, a massive chance to possibly take the lead. And this is a wonderful start to the second half for the hosts. We've come alive. David Moyes, more than anyone, has vast amount of experience in the Premier League and at top level football. One thing he probably would have said to his players was they ended that half well. Do not give them a chance inside the first minute. Don't give them an opportunity early. And my goodness, Sunderland have come out like a house on fire in the second half. Got their leveller and very easily could have had a second to take the lead. And look at the furious look on David Moyes' face right now. Traore trying to work inside to win the ball back, and Everton work it out wide here with Iliman Ndiaye. Idrissa Gueye, Everton just wanting to wrestle back some sort of momentum in this game. They haven't had a shot since the first 30 minutes of this game. It's been all Sunderland since then. Keane. Dewsbury Hall back to Michael Keane, and this is what Everton will try to do. Suck the life out of the stadium again, suck the energy out, and try and slow the tempo of this match down once more. Give themselves a little bit of an edge once again. So the quicker this game is, the more energy inside this stadium, the more danger for Everton, and the more opportunity for Sunderland. There's Keane under pressure, just about wrestling out of the way of Bertrand Traore, who was billowing down on him. They win it back. Dewsbury Hall a little loose with his possession. Here's Siddiqui having to spin back the way to sustain possession of the ball. And Roof's all the way back from Geertruida, but it's all the way back to Geertruida now. Right to the left hand side was Reynildo, back inside to Geertruida. Look at that, the last 10 shots in the game, 9 of them have come from Sunderland. It is literally like someone flicked the switch and the Sunderland of the first 30 minutes disappeared and a new Sunderland arrived. Beautiful switch ball out to the right hand side for Traore. Up against Mykolenko, cuts it back. Mukiele lifts it to the back post. Away by O'Brien, and no way out for Everton there with Barry dispossessed. And here is Geertruida poking it into Lefebvre, but a very compacted area. And Lefebvre doing really well, staying on Garner to win it back. And now down the right comes Traore. Traore onto his left, trying to dribble back onto his right. Mykolenko's there, but back again he comes. Cleared away by Everton from Traore's cross. Mukiele tussling with Dewsbury Hall and losing out there. That's a crunching challenge, that one though, by Trey Hume on Jack Grealish, and it's going to be a yellow card. Just a little late, Hume there. Known for his aggressive challenges and his feisty tackles. And Trey Hume gets himself a booking. Yeah, Grealish here just rolls the ball away from his man, and Hume comes crashing in. Crunching challenge. He's late. It's onto the top of the foot of Jack Grealish, and it's a yellow card for Trey Hume. His first of the season. Jack Grealish is a little bit peeved. Granit Xhaka's just trying to have some words with him, but Jack Grealish having none of it. And it looks like Everton have had enough with their centre forward of choice from the start of the game, and it's going to be a switch up incoming. Tierno Barry's night is going to be over in a moment, and Beto is going to be coming on, but Tierno Barry shook his head a little bit there when he glanced over to the sidelines. Particularly happy with coming off as Human. Grealish battling again down that left side, and it's Xhaka this time that comes and bundles Jack Grealish over. Xhaka and Grealish sharing an embrace for this Everton free kick. Well, this is a man that can get Everton and wrestle them back into this one. Albeit it's still level, but he's had a little bit of a quiet night so far, Grealish, but he's starting to win those tackles and win those free kicks down that side. And that can apply more pressure onto Sunderland. The man they have to be very wary of. Garner over this free kick for Everton. He readies himself. The stadium waits in anticipation. Garner right-footed. It's low across the near post. It's flicked and cleared away from danger, and Grealish is there to recycle. Back to Mykolenko. Swings it out to the left-hand side. Nicely fed onto Garner by Tarkovsky, but the cross by Garner is hooked away from danger and out for the Everton throw. Vitaly Mykolenko is the one that's waiting on the sideline there for the throw-in, but it's going to be a change of centre forward for David Moyes, and not too happy Tierno Barry with that change incoming, but he had a massive chance at 1-0 to double Everton's lead, and he gives absolutely no sort of embrace to his manager, showing his frustration of coming off, but that could work one of two ways. And Beto is on for him at the centre forward position for the Toffees. Long throw from Mykolenko. Up and away in there by Mukiele. And out for another throw into Everton. Nicely cleared by the Sunderland defence that time. Another Mykolenko long throw, and Robin Roos watched it all the way and had little to no concern about it whatsoever. Comfortable from the Sunderland goalkeeper. Here's Reynaldo. Good Sreda. Back to Ballard. Through the lines, nice direct ball to Isidore. A flick ball out wide from Xhaka. Traore tried to play it first time, but away by Garner, who dropped in. Grealish back to Mykolenko, who sends it down the left-hand channel and away from danger, but certainly asking Everton a lot more questions, Sunderland. They've tweaked a little bit. They've figured out how to find a way past this Toffees defence, and that stayed in, and the only one that realised it was Mukiele, and he's away down the right-hand side. So he does really well, and the crowd applaud that as Xhaka lays it out to Reynaldo. Down the left-hand side. Lafay back inside. Fired ball towards the box there for Siddiqui. He tried to battle his opposite number in Idrissa Gueye, but losing out on that occasion. But Siddiqui steps in and wins a challenge, and Lafay stretching and battling and not allowing Jake O'Brien any time or space on the ball. And Enzo Lafay gets a standing ovation from the crowd here, fired up by that sort of pressing from Sunderland. And Everton pinned in their own, around about their own corner flag. Chris says, how is Sunderland doing? Well, Sunderland at this minute in time are in the ascendancy. They got that equaliser just after half-time, and they've been a completely different, it's completely different side to the one we saw in the first 30 minutes of this game. Lacking energy, lacking invention, lacking ideas, sloppy on the ball. They've been everything opposite to that since that 30-minute mark, and Whatever happened at half-time when they figured it out, they came out, fired up, and within a minute had that equalising goal. Here's Lefebvre, back inside to Xhaka, out wide to Siddiqui now. Chops inside, trying to arrow one into the box, but nicely cut out by O'Brien, but not very far as Xhaka trying to command the midfield, but getting stepped out of the way was Dewsbury Hall, who's laid it off towards Beto's path, but Dan Ballard in the way of that one. Seems like everything that Everton are trying to throw at Sunderland, they've got an answer for at the minute. They're finding a way of trying to get themselves forward in the process of fending Everton's attacks off. He still remains that Everton are without a shot since before the 30th minute. Everton's last shot actually was Tierno Barry in the 28th minute of the game. I'm not sure if it was that miss from point blank range. I think it was. That was their last shot in the game for Tierno Barry, and this is now a worry for Everton. Iliman Njai is down. That's an even more of a worry for them. Well, Sunderland tonight, if they draw this game, they will jump up to the top 4. Level on points with league leader, or the champions Liverpool, and just ahead of Bournemouth, all on 18 points. They'll be a point behind second place Man City, and just 7 points off league leaders Arsenal if they draw tonight, Sunderland. A win would take them up to second, 5 points off the league leaders, and ahead of everybody else in the league, including City, Liverpool, Bournemouth, etc., etc. It would be quite unbelievable, their league position after 10 games, if they were to win tonight. For Everton, as it stands, with a draw, they would be moving up a place to 14th from where they started tonight in 15th. Even a win tonight wouldn't get them much further up the table. They would just be going as far as 12th with a win tonight, but a walk in the right direction, Everton, if they were to win tonight, because it has been a little bit of a struggle for them in recent games. As I said, only one win in their last 6 league games, and that was at home to Crystal Palace, quite funnily enough, in that run. But they've drawn to Villa, lost away to Liverpool in the derby, draw at home to West Ham, and defeats away at Man City, and a home defeat to Spurs. After what was a pretty positive start to the campaign, 2 wins out of their first 3 league games for Everton. Against Brighton and away at Wolves. A bit more of a struggle as of recent. Here's Sunderland into the box on the restart. Cleared away. Flick ball towards the box again, laid off. Traore on the half volley, and another deflection that had Everton scrambling, and it's Tarkowski again. That seems to be a real bouncy ball at the moment, because everything's bouncing off him. His deflection that directed the ball past Pickford into the Everton net for the Sunderland equaliser, and he almost did it again there from a half volley from Bertrand Traore. It's just awkward as the corner comes in, cleared away. It's recycled back out to Xhaka again. Xhaka couldn't get it past the first man in his way that time, and Mikolenko. "63 minutes gone. Sunderland 1, Everton 1. And it is the home side that have had all the joy, really, of this second half. A lot of physical tusslers in that box. Mukiele with a long throw. Flick on by Ballard, bouncing around again. Cries of handball by the players of Sunderland. And again, the referee, Tom Bramall, sees no problem, although he'll stop the game for the moment to allow Michael Salisbury to have a look at this. But the check is complete for no handball. We'll see it again. Oh, there's nothing in that. I mean, it literally rolls off the chest of Idrissa Gueye. It's not a handball. And his arms were by his side anyway. So, nothing in that. But the Sunderland players were incessant that was a handball. It was Almost like they'd said it was the clearest handball they've ever seen, but it was nowhere near it. Never a handball. As that was a dispossession of McNeil there for Everton, the substitute, who's come on for Iliman Ndiaye, by the way. And they win it back again down the left side to Sunderland, and wrestling and tussling, and they just can't seem to get a break at the minute, Everton. Sunderland are relentless at this minute in time. And they will have no doubt tonight they will run themselves into the ground, Sunderland. And that man, Granit Xhaka, has been absolutely star quality tonight. Unstoppable in that midfield. And he's got the goal as well to boot. But even without the goal, he's been absolutely magnificent. And that Sunderland midfield, and just shows what Premier League experience can deliver to help such a young, youthful and inexperienced side at this top level. But that's going to be a Sunderland throw off McNeil. Again, Everton just shows you the ball is just not bouncing for them in this second half. Every little flick and deflection of the ball is in Sunderland's favour at this minute in time, as Reynaldo trying to win the throw, and he does win the throw off McNeil again. A little bit of a worry for Everton that Iliman Ndiaye did have to come off there. He's the man that got them their goal. A beautiful solo goal from Ndiaye. Not really created much other than that in terms of threatening Robin Roos's goal, but they're level in this game, and Sunderland trying to take the lead for the first time tonight. Flick ball from the long throw, but cleared away by Dewsbury Hall. Xhaka again winning his header under pressure. Doing really well. Here's Lefay. Here's Trey Hume on the left side trying to cross it in. O'Brien was there that blocked it. Again calls a handball. That one again looked like it hit the chest of O'Brien. His arms were by his side once again. So no call. There's a throw in here for Sunderland. Long throw in coming. Lots of bodies in and around the keeper. Flick on. Tarkowski gets the clearance and fired away by Dewsbury Hall, as far away from the goal as he can get it. And Robin Roofs comfortably picking it up in his own half, but not finding any of his teammates. And this is a bit of pressure that Sunderland don't need at the minute. Here's Grealish. But look at that backtracking from Bertrand Traore. The winger tracking back and doing his defensive duties to dispossess Jack Grealish. And that's a battle there by Traore, who was brought down by Mykolenko. A free kick to Sunderland. Well, Sunderland have 17 points coming into this game tonight from 9 Premier League games. That's their best record at this stage of a top-flight campaign since the 1999-2000 season, when they also had 17 points. The Black Cats won their 10th game back then. That was a 4-0 victory at Bradford. Could they be on course to try and win this, their 10th game of this season? Quite a remarkable feat that's unfolding in front of our eyes. A newly promoted side, and you know, the whole storyline coming into the season about the newly promoted teams, oh, they'll just go all back down again. Well, Sunderland are the prime example of a team that shows what it means to be back in the top flight, and each and every one of their players representing that, certainly here this evening and across all of their games. As Mukiele with a long throw. It's a bit harsh to call it a long throw, a bit flattering. So that barely beat the first man there in the box, and Xhaka was there again, mopping up from the giveaway. There's Roofs, another long ball, testing one that's bounced in behind, but shielding there with the Everton defenders to find the ball to Pickford, who rolls it out to Garner. O'Brien. Back to Tarkowski, and now Idrissage. Keane to Mykolenko. Grealish. Back it goes to Michael Keane. Back to Jordan Pickford. Pressured. A long kick that's up, kept alive in the middle of the field, and Reinildo wins the challenge. And here's Siddiqui. Lays it back out wide to Reinildo. And reversed it back to Enzo Lefebvre. Really competent passing there from Sunderland. As a first time flick by Bertrand Traore was a little short. Cleared away as Ballard got his head to that one and couldn't keep it in play himself. But again, competitive in every challenge at the minute, Sunderland. Chris Coates says Wilson Isidore will score the next goal. And Scott says, come on Everton, win or draw. Well, at the minute they are getting a draw. And Isidore striding onto this loose ball. Trying to break away, gets past Tarkowski. He's still going, Wilson Isidore, whose shot was lofted over the crossbar, but he did well there to get himself into the position to have a shot. Did really well against James Tarkowski. Just rolling off the back of Tarkowski like it's no problem. And then striding onto it with his left foot with the strike. Couldn't keep the shot down on that occasion, but certainly is that continuous threat. Sunderland are a problem for Everton. And Sunderland have really no reason to believe that Everton are any threat to them at the minute, because, as I say, the 28th minute was the last time that Everton had a shot in this game. The last time they were in the Sunderland box was in the 48th minute of the first half. So it has been one-way traffic in this second period in terms of the threat on either goal, and Sunderland much more than their opponents tonight, certainly in this second period. As Ballard was took down by Beto off the ball there, and free kick given quickly. Xhaka with a nice ball out wide here to Lefebvre, who rolls it back out wide. Nicely taken by Reinildo at the byline, cuts it across, and Isidore was in the middle, but it just missed him. And it's cleared away by Everton, but Sunderland continue to knock on the door. As Mukiele out-muscles Grealish. Mukiele, he's got options, he lays it inside, nicely taken by Siddiqui, trying to trick his man, gets a deflection, and off the backside of Mykolenko for the corner. Again called a handball on Michael Keane, but the referee points for a corner. See it again, Siddiqui, is his arm away from his body? It is, but he's turning away from the ball, and it's kind of down right in front of him. That would be really harsh if it was given. He's trying to shield his body. It's harsh, in my opinion. It would be harsh if it was given, but just a corner. And I think the on-field decision will stand here for the moment. Although there is a VAR check. So Michael Keane going away, turning away from the ball, but his arm is slightly out from his body. But he's moving away from the ball, and I think common sense has prevailed. Michael Salisbury says check complete, no penalty. I think it would have been harsh if it was given, but I certainly could see if the referee did give it, it would be hard to overturn. Either way, it's one of those ones where it's not completely a penalty or not completely, definitely not. It's one of those ones where you've seen them given. Corner to Sunderland anyway, though. Xhaka to take. It'll be corner number 3 for Sunderland. Although Mukiele and Dewsbury Hall of keen alert to the referee there for their tussling from this corner. Xhaka to take the corner. Left-footed delivery to the back post. Headed across. It's a real scramble. But it's away by Everton. My goodness, there was a real melee of bodies in there that could have got on the end of that one. And David Moyes, I'm sure, thankful that it was one of his players that could clear it away. But they are on the ropes at the minute, Everton, and if they fend off what has been a real onslaught of a second half from Sunderland, They will be happy with the point as it stands. One of the toughest places to go, it seems, in the Premier League, certainly this season. That unbeaten record that Sunderland have here at home to start this campaign will be, and has been, the kind of foundation builder of a season where they want to look at up the table, in the top half of the table, rather than worrying about relegation. But they win tonight. I mean, 20 points is a lot of points to get from your first 10 games. That's 2 points a game. If you average that out of the season, that's 76 points over a season. Now, of course, that's not how football works, but they're on some high level from their opening games. And Reynaldo there felt he was harshly penalised for a collision with James Garner that was given as a foul, but he had the possession of the ball and there wasn't much contact at all, much action at all from Reynaldo there, really, if I'm honest. But if Sunderland win this tonight, they will be on 20 points, which would mean they would have more points than Southampton, by 8 more points than Southampton did after 38 games, after 10. They would be just 2 points off Ipswich's tally of last season and 5 points off Leicester's tally of last campaign. Quite remarkable the start to the season that a newly promoted side has had, considering the 3 last season didn't get past 25 points. And by the end of the night, Sunderland will be, as it stands, on 18 points. Fantastic. Ballard with a long ball over the top towards Isidore again. Everton clambering it away. Ballard again calmly just directing it back into the midfield for Granit Xhaka. Lays it out wide to Bertrand Traore now. Back inside to Xhaka. Xhaka back to Mukiele. Out to the right hand side is Traore. Back to Mukiele, who continued his run and worked it across the box. And a miss kick by Isidore. It could have been much more threatening if he got a clean connection to that. Again, really good combination between Mukiele and Traore down the right, and then a ball across by Mukiele, deftly across the 18-yard box, bobbling on its way through. And Isidore just kind of glanced it, didn't get much contact behind it, and it rolled its way towards Pickford's goal. But any sort of pressure, any sort of power behind that, and it would have been a concern for the Everton goalkeeper. Hasn't had much of the action tonight, Wilson Isidore. He's been well covered by the Everton defenders. He's had a tricky task of it tonight. He's had 2 shots tonight, neither of them on target so far, Wilson Isidore. Good battling there from Gertrude down his left-hand side, that right-hand side of Everton, where they're trying to cause a problem, and on that occasion couldn't quite do it. Seen out for the throw-in, but Everton going to bring on some changes. They already made a change, 2 changes, in the second half. Beto having to coming on for Tierno Barry, and Iliman Ndiaye taken off for Dwight McNeil for an injury, so they've got 1 sub window left. It looks like they're going to use it in a moment. Long throw from Everton, flicked on, up and away by Sunderland, but took the wind on the way through there and skidded out for the corner. A rare foray forward here for the Toffees. First corner of the game, never mind the second half. And Sunderland are also going to make some subs in a moment as well. Going to make their first subs of the night out of the Sunderland after 78.5 minutes, but not before this Everton corner. As they say, their first of the night. Love a good set piece to David Moyes' teams. Ball to the back post, headed across and up and away by Sunderland, although there's going to be a free kick to the hosts. Trey Hume is down, or was down for the second, but he's okay on his feet again. But this Everton corner to the back post. It was Tarkowski the target, flicked it across, but the collision in there that giving Sunderland the free kick. Just over 10 minutes to go. Sunderland 1, Everton 1, and we compared them a moment ago to the tallies of the 3 promoted teams from last season that all got relegated at the end of the last campaign, as Bertrand Traore gets a little bit excited in the middle there, but nicely stepped in by Gertrude to win it back. He'll get to that point in a moment, as here's Siddiqui out to the left hand side for Lefay. Back on the inside is Xhaka. Lefay, Siddiqui with the ball towards the box, and the header is bundled out by Pickford after he caught it, but it will be a corner, and a decent header by Trey Hume. See it in there, great ball in by Siddiqui, and Hume rose the highest, and he got his head to that one, and it was going towards the corner. Pickford just couldn't gather it, bundled it behind for the corner to Sunderland. Xhaka will whip one in once more. Left-footed delivery, cleared away at the near post at a very narrow angle by Beto. Back to Xhaka, who will whip it in again, and the header is poked over the crossbar by Mukiele. He couldn't keep the header down, but he's hurt from it. He's hurt himself. See this again, Xhaka's first delivery cleared away, but it's nicely, just calmly recycled. Laid off to Xhaka, first time ball, beautifully whipped in on a dime. And Mukiele is the one that got the header. They're claiming a high boot on Michael Keane here. See it again? I mean, there's nothing in that. He does not get any contact with the head of Mukiele at all there. So, nothing in that. As I was saying about the point of Sunderland, so we compared them to the 3 promoted teams of last season that were relegated in terms of their tally right now. Sunderland have won 5 of their 9 league games this season so far, drawn 2 and lost 2. That's just 1 fewer than they managed in the whole of their last top-flight campaign in the 2016-17 season, where they won just 6 games across that whole season. Quite remarkable. They're looking to win 3 consecutive Premier League games for the first time since May of 2014, when they won 4 in a row. At the moment, that wouldn't be coming their way, and they're going to make some changes here for the moment. And the double substitution incoming. Wilson Isidore and Bertrand Traore all off, both off, and Brian Brobby and Chemsedine Talby Chemsedine Talby is on. And for Everton, Jake O'Brien has come off, and he's been replaced. A couple of changes actually for Everton, a double change. Dewsbury Hall and O'Brien are off, and Irabunum and Alcaraz are on. So just to repeat that for you, Talby and Brobby are on for Sunderland, Traore and Isidore off, and for Everton a double substitution as well, which sees Dewsbury Hall and O'Brien off, and they've been replaced by Alcaraz and Irabunum. Right, 7 minutes to go of the 90. Sunderland 1, Everton 1. Sunderland by far the better team in this second half, but have just 1 goal to show for it, and that was an equalising goal. Of this second half, the stats alone in the second half, I'll actually visually show you. If you look to your top right side of your screen where our stats graphic is, if I go to second half stats alone, you'll see a lot of red and not much black there. That is all Sunderland. Every stat they have dominated. Possession 62% for Sunderland in the second half. 1 big chance. 10 shots they've had in the second period. Only 3 of them on target, but 10 shots in the second half. Compared to Everton, who have had less than 40% possession, 38% of the ball, haven't had a shot, haven't had a big chance, haven't created anything in this second half. The only thing they've had is a corner. That's their most promising stat of the second half for Everton. There's a real battle there between Garner and Gertrude, I believe, and a little bit sloppy there from Sunderland, and they're giving it away. And there's the first shot of the second half for Everton, but it was comfortably cleared away by Robin Roofs. Right for the Everton throw, but maybe that's a little glimpse that Everton are not down and out just yet. Yeah, a little bit of an overstretch, and the ball didn't quite reach Brobbey. And then the shot from range by Mykolenko was comfortably parried by Robin Roofs, but he's going to get the throw in here. Mykolenko with a long throw, flicked on at the near post and up and away by Tolby at the back post. And a bouncing ball, a bit awkward here as Garner clears it long and a flick on, but Hume should have this under control and does, and sees it out for the goal kick. Five minutes to go of the game. In the balance in the last minute or so to Everton with one or two opportunities, but certainly not in the balance with the way Sunderland have played in this second half. They have been by far on top. They haven't been able to take the lead, as Irabunum did well there. But the ball all the way back to Jordan Pickford here for Everton. And this game brings me back to that opening night, Monday night, at Elland Road for Everton. First game of the season, away at Leeds, and they conceded that late penalty, which got Leeds the 3 points. And a game where Leeds were the better side, they were pushing for the winner. And this game just sounded fails of that, although Sunderland have been much better tonight than what Leeds were that night. But tough away grounds for Everton, under the lights, atmosphere booming. If they come away with a point here, they will know they've got away with one with the way they've played in this second half, creating little to nothing in an attacking sense. They're taking their time here, Everton. It's taken short by McNeil. The Grealish. They were going to go for Pickford to take it, but changed their mind at the last second. Grealish with an early cross, and comfortable for Robin Roofs, who was unfazed by that Jack Grealish cross. Yeah, really comfortable. You kind of feel there's going to be one big moment for both of these two before the final whistle goes. At least one big moment for them to try and win it. And there's going to be a free kick here. Mukiele was brought down by Jesus Segay, and a free kick to Sunderland. 3 minutes of the 90 to go. Let's see what Granit Xhaka can conjure up here. Flick ball into the box. It's kept alive at the back post. It's now cleared away by Alcaraz, and he's trying to garner a counter-attack for Everton, but to no avail, although Idris Segay is going to get a free kick. Enzo Lafay pulling him back. So free kick to Everton. Well, for Everton, this would be now 3 games without a win if they were to fail to win this one. That'll be the second time this season they've gone on a run like that or longer. They had a 4-game winless run between the draw with Aston Villa and the draw with West Ham. After that game they beat Crystal Palace, but they've lost their last 2 of Everton. 2-0 away at City and 3-0 at home to Spurs. Tonight they've been really outfought by by Sunderland as Brobby tried to make the run on behind, and Ballard tried that. Great pass, but Michael Keane was in the way. He got the block on that one. Got it out for the throw-in to Sunderland on this right-hand side, which Mukiele will measure up to take. Last minute of the 90. And the referee just advising Mukiele where to go to take this long throw. And there's a tussle and a wrestle in there between Ballard and Idrissa Gueye. A bit of a mismatch that, if I've ever seen one. The referee again making sure all is okay. Ballard is the big threat. Amongst multiple opportunities and options in there for Sunderland. Mukiele's throw flicked into the box, and a little bit of an awkward bounce that Pickford had to think about, but it's cleared away as we will have 6 added minutes. 6 added minutes at the end of the 90 here then. Can Sunderland find what they've been looking for and a winning goal? Or will Everton commit the ultimate smash and grab, although not on that evidence? That's going to be a foul and a free kick to Sunderland as Reynildo was brought down. Granit Xhaka, an absolute sensation tonight. He's been fantastic in that midfield, and he gets player of the match tonight, but quite deservedly so. He's been fantastic. Not only getting that goal, but everything else he's done has just been magnificent for Sunderland. A real leader in that midfield. Long ball forward. Ballard was a bit further up the pitch to try and help out with that. Carry it forward. It's cleared away again by Everton. All the way back here with Trey Hume in his own half. Space is there though for Sunderland to try and exploit as Mukiele finds it into Brobby's path, but the bounce takes it away from him, and Pickford comes rushing out to claim, but Brian Brobby trying to make an impact. Long clearance by Pickford. And that old style keeper to keeper type long ball. Xhaka. Mukiele now. Back to Granit Xhaka. 4 minutes of the 6 to go. Well, ultimately on the feelings and the immediate feelings of right now, it would feel a bit of a disappointment for Sunderland to not win this game, but on the balance of things, overall, in the benefit of hindsight, probably tomorrow morning they would think, yeah, that was a really good point, a really good team, a game we probably could have won, but a big point that we got in the end. And I think for Everton, they would be delighted with the point here tonight. As I said, they've had multiple occasions where they could have been behind, and for one reason or another, it hasn't quite fallen for Sunderland in these moments. But another long throw in coming here from Mukiele to try and pin it right on them. Mukiele's long throw away by Everton again, but back to Mukiele on the wide right position, trying to whip it in. Well blocked by Mykolenko and away by Grealish. Nicely retrieved by Siddiqui. Xhaka trying to poke it through a hole that wasn't there, and he's given it away, and this could be a real issue for Sunderland here. Big chance. Alcaraz was too hesitant, and Sunderland allowed bodies back, and it's still alive. Alcaraz. Out wide it goes, chipped back across the box, and it's up and away. But my goodness, Granit Xhaka, star of the night, but he could have been turned into villain all very quickly. Trying to poke a pass through that just wasn't there to be found. And Mukiele does well here to hold on to it. Breaking forward. There's still a chance here for Sunderland. There's space. An opportunity. Here's Talby. Going for the early cross. Brobby's in the middle. Cleared away by Keane. Grealish deep in his own half trying to defend. Does well. And it's hoofed away by Mykolenko. Again, Talby does really well, and Hume was brought down, no foul, and now the game's opened up massively. Everton feeling they could do it, but Alcaraz's ball was picked up by no one in black and yellow tonight, and on that occasion, another missed opportunity for Everton. Down to a minute and a half to go. Well, what a chance Carlos Alcaraz had. Well, are those moments now for these two gone with a minute or so to go? Is there one last opportunity? Has the game run its course? And I gotta say, David Moyes, despite the point, if they come away with a point tonight, despite that, he will still be massively disappointed. The way his team have played tonight, they've been pretty dreadful in the second half in front of anywhere near attacking. Pretty dreadful. As I say, they will be delighted with a point right now. They probably would have gotten away with one by getting such a point. But will they get there? Here's Enzo Lefebvre. Siddiqui beating a man, but had too many players to beat. Although he did get the block on that one, but goes out for an Everton throw when there's barely seconds remaining. Could be the curtailment of this game now with this throw-in. And it is. The final whistle goes, and it's a point apiece here at the Stadium of Light. David Moyes and his side were hanging on in there for the complete second half. Regis Labrisse's side were by far the better team. But inside the first minute was the only goal that they could conjure up in this second half. Granit Xhaka, his effort deflected off the foot of Tarkowski, beating Jordan Pickford, and that levelled the tie up. But it was more, much more than that from Sunderland. Their performance, their level of quality, and their competitiveness in this second half probably deserved 3 points. But that's the Premier League for you. No matter when, no matter how well you think you've played, it's about getting those goals, and tonight they could only conjure up one. But my goodness, if they play like this for the rest of the season, Sunderland, relegation will be a distant memory for them. They will not be thinking about that. It will be about thinking about up the table and how far they can get with this team. 18 points from their first 10 games is a wonderful return and a fantastic start to what has been a return to the Premier League, to really just in awe of. And Granit Xhaka, the star man again tonight. A real leader, carrying this team, but helping them with experience. But the quality of players they've got out of that pitch, and the performances of every single one of those Sunderland players tonight was quite fantastic. And they get more or less than what they deserved, in my opinion. But in the end, that's football. And on the night, they'll take a point and they'll say that they know they can do better and produce better, and certainly in front of goal. But a continuation of what is an unbeaten run at home as well. But a great night for Sunderland and a fantastic performance. And Everton clinging on in there, but they get the point that they probably will be very delighted with. David Moyes, but not with a performance certainly to get it. Final score, Sunderland 1, Everton 1. And let's then recap the full weekend of Premier League action for you. Here it is, only our second draw of the weekend, and the other one coming at the City Ground between Nottingham Forest and Man United, and Sunderland and Everton drawing this evening. across the weekend. Brighton winning at home, as did Palace, as did Fulham, as did Liverpool, all winning at home by and keeping clean sheets. Road wins for Chelsea and Arsenal, also keeping clean sheets on the road in their respective victories. And home wins for West Ham, a rare home win, a first home win for West Ham since February. Quite remarkable. And more misery on the road for Newcastle and for Man City. A continuation of what has been an unbelievable record against Bournemouth. Never dropped a point at home against Bournemouth. Quite incredible. The Bournemouth side leaving the Etihad with familiar feelings of defeat once again. That is our Premier League weekend. Match day 10 done and dusted. Let's show you what the table looks like after 10 games from every single team. That's 100, I believe, on the season. It is 100 on the season, and let's show you what that means for the table then. Here is your league leader, Arsenal. Lead the way, 8 wins from their opening 10 games, and not an easy trip to Sunderland next on Saturday night. That will be a tasty affair. Arsenal v Sunderland on Saturday evening. Arsenal top the table. Sunderland had the chance to go second tonight with a win, but a draw sees them in 4th. But Man City stay in 2nd after their win with Bournemouth yesterday. They were 19 points, and Liverpool, despite losing each of their previous 4 games, a win this weekend pushes them all the way back up to 3rd. Shows you how crazy the Premier League has been so far early in this season. They're in 18 points, as are Sunderland, as are Bournemouth, who make up the top 5. Spurs drop down to 6th. They're on 17 points alongside Chelsea and Man United, who make up the top 8. And Crystal Palace in 9th on 16 points. And Brighton make up the top half. They are on 15. Into the bottom half, Aston Villa losing to Liverpool, ending their 4-game winning streak. They're mid-table in 11th on 15 points. Brentford on 13 in 12th. Newcastle dropping down as well. All these sides losing this weekend. They're on 12 points. Everton's draw pushes them up a place to 14th, but still a distance off that top half. And then 11 points apiece for Fulham and Leeds. They're on 15th and 16th. And Burnley just outside the relegation zone on 10 points. And looking at that bottom 3, despite staying in the bottom 3, West Ham, they got a big win, only their 2nd win of the season this weekend at home to Newcastle. So they've got a trip a facing of Burnley at the London Stadium next week. So that's a tasty battle between 17th and 18th in that one. They're closing the gap to Burnley just to 3 points now, so they can go above them depending on the result next weekend. So that's West Ham in 18th. Forest drawing with Man United, so it gets them a point, and their first point under Sean Dyche, 6 points. And Wolves rock bottom of the table on 2 points after their first 10 games, without a win, the only side yet to win this season. And Vitor Pereira's head was taken because of that, and they're still searching for a permanent head coach. The news tonight that Gary O'Neill has pulled out of the running to be the Wolves head coach, but it is a tough task for anybody that goes in there now. 8 points adrift of safety already, and they've only played 10 games. It's a big tough task to go to Molineux and to save Wolves, it seems, at the moment, but not insurmountable, but very tough. A reminder for you of what's to come over the midweek. Champions League action over the next 2 nights for you. Liverpool take on Real Madrid tomorrow at 8 o'clock at Anfield, followed by a battle and a repeat of a Champions League final a Champions League later stage, it's a knockout stage, of a few seasons ago. Man City taking on Borussia Dortmund tomorrow, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. That is it from us tonight. The Stadium of Light shone bright in that second half, and their team certainly shone the brightest on the night between them and Everton. Everton clinging on. They get the point they deserve. They probably will be very delighted with come the end of the evening. Sunderland probably deserved more, but my goodness, they've made a cracking start to the season. They're already in the top 4. Good night.